Okay, we've talked about the fact that escrow can be and is a totally normal holding places for payments to sit awaiting application. However, it's important to point out that we don't want our payments sitting or being stuck in this area because that can signify a potential issue that does need your attention. For example, if you are trying to close a month and you have a payment from earlier in the month that typically you receive details for such payment in a number of days following the payment, but you have yet to receive it, then that can be a sign that there is something that needs your attention. So we've already learned that escrow is a temporary holding place for that money to be applied, but the key word is temporary. Balances should eventually reconcile to zero and leave no balance remaining after the payment posting is complete and the payment has been applied. If that doesn't happen, then that's usually a clue that something in the workflow needs your attention. Here's a couple of instances in which we might see a payment that remains in our escrow and is unresolved. We've received payments from an insurance company, but that amount is still sitting in our escrow because they have not sent an explanation of that payment to us just yet, or we don't have the ability to retrieve that from the payer portal ourselves. The next example is potential incorrect payment amounts. So perhaps you received a payment for a certain amount, however, the details for that payment don't match. That creates a difference and that will leave any additional funds that are not able to be applied sitting in escrow. Another example is if a claim or encounter is deleted or reversed after payments have been received, then the system no longer has a valid charge to apply the payment towards. And often that will result in amounts remaining in escrow and unapplicable payments and the amounts sitting in escrow. So remember, not all escrow is bad. Temporary escrow is expected. We often will see these amounts remaining in escrow for a couple of days each month, maybe even up to a week. However, when payments are sitting in escrow for an extended period of time, that is when we need to be concerned, because not attending to unresolved escrow can create problems for your organization. It can absolutely affect your financial reporting, your ability to reconcile your revenue, complete your month-end closings, and the longer they go unresolved, the more difficult it becomes to research and correctly apply these payments. So with that said, it's important to monitor your escrow. And if there is a payment sitting in escrow for an unusual amount of time, be sure to research and resolve that to ensure a healthy revenue cycle.